I think I'm on. Well, today we talked somewhat on issues, did car things. I got home, I had to ride the bus. I cleaned up a lot. I tried to train that dog. I'm going to talk about my dog. These pieces of furniture my wife had gotten, she's an apartment manager. They were probably worth, brand new, a couple of thousand. I upholstered them, but the dog destroyed. So I got home at about 3, and he destroyed the house again. My kids do animal things, and I even see our local media has done a lot on animals, and I have too many. We've tried to help them. I have too many. I don't. Many cats here, many dogs. But then I also noticed at times, like my kids, I told my one daughter, I said, I can't. I adopted this nice little young dog, but they have many dogs that they rescue. My daughter does her own rescue. And I said, look, you're going to have to just take them back. And the way my kids see animals, I think they have sometimes too high of a view in the sense people that have tried to take animals in, and elderly people or whatever, sometimes they have too many and they're not caring for them properly, and they go after them to try to bring charges on the people that had too many. Now, our community in Corpus Christi has tried to focus on that, and they even have a court thing on a man that choked a dog or something. I don't know, if something like that. But the balance is, I think if my dogs killed me, it actually murdered me, they would find a way to blame me. I think something like that happened. This one particular one who I tried to teach, I just said, no, I can't handle this because I have many problems. And when I came home, he had the whole house torn up. He worked on the new couch. I have difficulty sleeping, and this was the one I tried to sleep on. But that was the only one that was still good. I used to have the bed in here, so I could lay down on the floor, but he tore that up. I had to put that in the yard. So there comes a time where, you try to help. I noticed this. I didn't see this. My other daughter must have found it. He tears all the wood off of the furniture, but he's nonstop. And I don't want to do the kennel. So I'm going to have to get rid of this dog. Either the dog pound or some legal way to get rid of this animal. And I tried to tell my other daughter, you can take him back. You got kennels, but they don't respond to that. You want to know the value of animals, and you also want to understand the value of human life. And I know we live in a society that does not deem it the same, where we see a lot of videos at times of, the baby seals, and people have killed them wrongfully and all. But then sometimes you see a video of a child in the womb. And I know many people, many animal lovers, have said things like, but humans are the entire problem in society. And so some will look at the child in the womb and say that child deserves to die, but then see an animal in need and really have more compassion. And so we're just unbalanced. But this is too much for me. I've talked to some of my new friends, I talk about issues and stuff. I didn't fully get to talk on all the issues today. I was out on the other side of town, still got to go back. But what I tried to, the things I look at is, have we criminalized, we can, whoever you go after in society and politics, whatever it is, CNN, they should be removed. If anyone should ever have 3 strikes on quote YouTube, then it should be them. I even checked the news again as I was on the bus, and they just lie. But they lied. They used some of the surviving kids from the Florida shooting, Parkland, that were in that school that did not get killed. They're going against that one particular young man, calling him a liar. There's another kid now that they're using as like a political pawn, and the media is actually calling him one of the survivors from Parkland. And that boy never went to that school. But they're presenting him. He's advocating on the more liberal side, and they've reported that he's a survivor from that school. He did not even attend that school. That's disgraceful because kids died there in that tragedy. Yesterday, I'll do a little to show manipulation. Mr. Trump made a comment against Attorney General Jeff Sessions. And it has to do with who Mr. Sessions, the Attorney General, is going to have look into the FISA abuse and all this. And so Mr. Trump tweeted and said, it's either disgraceful or shameful that you would put a former Obama holdover in charge. And that was like a shot at the bow of the Attorney General. Now CNN had it on their online thing. Sessions hits back at Trump's disgraceful comment. Now when you see that headline, they're trying to start a war within the White House, within the administration, Kushner, John Kelly, all that. They've been doing this for a year like kids, irresponsible media. Now when you read that headline, Trump yesterday tweeted something about Sessions. He put the wrong guy in charge. And Sessions hits back today at Trump's disgraceful comment. You would think Sessions came out, the Attorney General, and said, you are a disgrace, Mr. Trump, or shameful. No. The article was, in the tweet Trump sent, he said it was disgraceful or shameful to put that guy in charge. Sessions didn't respond at all in a negative way. Sessions simply said, we're going to handle it in a professional manner. But then how could CNN or Kohler Times or NBC, how could they lie to you like that and give you the impression and the opinion that there's this thing? The way they did it was a lie. Because they're manipulative. They're manipulative. They're not media. And to the degree where they're actually trying to get some of their political enemies charged and possibly go to jail, some media figures called for the possible execution, kid you not, meaning they would face the death penalty. Some of Trump's family might have to face the death penalty. It was one former, I think, New York Times reporter. You had other media say, we're going to put you and your kids in prison. Joe Scarborough said that. Though he made a joke about one of his own staffers when he was a congressman, a female staffer who was found dead alone in his office with a head injury under his desk. And he resigned from Congress after that. And then they claimed she accidentally fell down and killed herself while alone in his congressional office. And then he joked about it on a Don Imus show. And they had to remove the audio. It was a YouTube video. He was on a Don Imus in the morning. He was a very popular talk show host where I grew up. And as he commented on the death of that young girl, whose family grieves, he said, oh yeah, that's the girl I had sex with and murdered. Now, whether he was joking or not, and he's a top NBC man, top. And the same guy was on the news media saying to Trump, we're going to put you and your kids in prison. So the media is a disgrace in this country. My dog obviously does not know right and wrong. In my efforts to help this little dog, I'm unable to. And you think family or somebody that actually does a lot of dog rescues and finds homes, when you make requests, say, look, it's too much for me with various things in my life. They see that as they hold the value of the animals higher than the value of humans. And I'm an animal lover. I saw some on the walk today. I was upset because also I was going to catch, I walked quite a distance, but then the bus that I'm supposed to catch to come all the way back here, which is called the 29, but I stopped one on Staple Street. I said, hey, don't you stop at the little, one of the other Southside stations? Oh no. He said, the 29, I know the one I need, but I asked him, this guy anyway, he was the bus, I'm at the bus stop. He said, oh no, the guy behind me. He said, the bus behind me will take you. So I said, okay. Of course, I didn't realize it was right behind him. And so that bus left, and the bus that was behind him was the one I said, hey, he just kept going. He was like bumper riding the one in the front. I see he didn't even look at the bus stop. Got me upset. Okay. There was some scriptures. Oh, I should show it to you. I was going to do a video. There was a statue on Staples and a sign on it, plaque. It's a city statue, or it's not like a vandalism. And it said the True Gang sign. The True Gang sign. And it had like a hand with a peace sign or something like that. But it's not graffiti. It was whoever, business, or they said, trying to, that area of town. And I wanted to tell this one story. It just came to my mind. I saw scripture the other day. I have them written all over. But it says, upon Jesus' head were many crowns. It's in Revelation. It talks about authority in many realms. Okay? And I mentioned that yesterday I was walking. And I found, there's always little things, and I found this. I'm here now, I'll show it to you. It was like a little plastic door with a crown. It's got a crown in the middle. And for some of my little things, that was what I needed, and I found it. Well, today when I was in the various auto parts stores, 2 AutoZones on the other side of town on Leopard and Port Street, I had to get parts for the car. For mine, I got yesterday at those AutoZones. I use the ones next to my mechanic, so if he has to replace it, go back. It's right down the street. He does business with that AutoZone. But I had to go to 2 of them. I got the water pump and everything at one. They didn't have a gasket. So as I'm in AutoZone, waiting, the only thing I looked for was a couple years ago, that's area of town when you shop for the little like air valves to put over your tires. They have some that look like gang things, you know, and they got all types of skeleton heads and all. Well, one year I bought, they had 4 little crowns. It's nice little air valve tires, but people every now and then steal them. So I had one stolen once, and I had to get the set of 4, replace one of them because they're the little crowns go on the air tire. So as I was in the AutoZone, I said, they're hard to find. They sell them out, or they don't carry them anymore. Sure enough, someone stole another one like this year, and I'd like to have 4 on my 4 tires. That's the only item I looked for myself as I was waiting for him to find the parts. I said, oh, I can't find it. I didn't ask, but they're not there. And as I was walking on Laredo Street and Agnes Street and all the streets, I looked down to see if I found things. Sure enough, there was one of those air valve crowns. It was broken somewhat, but I picked it up. I said, that's the one thing I actually wanted for me today, besides the other chores. And the verse I was quoting the other day was, a man can receive nothing unless it's given to him. And it was right on the street, on like Laredo Street, as I'm crossing. I did see some people at a bus stop on Morgan, and it was kind of almost a violent thing. I walked right past them. And so there's some stuff like that you might see in those bad areas. But I'll do this last one because it gives you a view. Okay? God bless everybody.